Alright guys, as promised, we're moving to video number 2. First video was to configure the interface on both routers and PCs. So now we're going to add a serial interface to both routers, and then we're going to go ahead and connect the serial interfaces, and then we'll do a static route from both sides, okay? So if you haven't seen this before, there's another video I made basically outlining what we did here, and watch that video first and then move to this one. Okay guys, all right, so I'm going to jump in here. Let's click on our router, physical interface. I'll make it a little bit larger, and then we're just going to zoom in. Okay, we're going to turn it off. See this little switch? It's going to emulate basically a real router, and it's off right now. Click on our wick, third one down, come over here, click on it and drag. There you go, boom, it's there. Turn it on, and if we go over to our CLI, which is our command line interface, you will see the router, they call it decompressing, are coming online, okay? You can see it. We're gonna just close this one out for now, and then we'll go over here, same process, make this bigger, zoom in, click on it to turn it off, click on our wick, drag and drop, and there it goes. Turn it back on. You go over to your command line and you can see it decompressing the image, okay? And we'll go from there. All right, we'll let that boot. In the meantime, that's there. Let's close this one out. And what we'll do is now add our line. All right, guys, from here to here on our serial interface, we have to choose the right cable. So we click on this one and we go to our serial interface on this one, okay? One will be a DCE, which will provide clocking, and the other one will be DTE, and I will show you which ones after we're finished configuring the router. We'll use a command to see which one is which, okay? So let's click on our router here, and as you can see, it tells you anything that happens on the interface, what it's doing. In my last video, one of the things I talked about is labeling our interface just like a text, so we know what is what and what interface. So over here, I'll just put S0. This is where we connected our cable to, okay? Then we'll go over here, we're going to do the same. And so yeah, I'm going to add the IP address to it too. And we'll just use class A, so 10.0.0.2, okay? This one, we just click on it. I'm sorry, click on it over here, or escape command. Click on it, and we'll do 10.0.0.1, okay? As you can see, go ahead, we can now see, now that we've labeled it, it's easier to read what IP goes where. So now let's go to our interface. So we're clicking on router here. Let's do a couple of things in this one, okay? We're in the privilege. We're going into privilege mode. Now we're going to go into config mode. So let's do config T, which stands for config terminal. Enter. Another thing you can do on any one of the privilege, global mode, if I just go ahead and put a question mark, just bring up the question mark, as you can see here, question mark. It will give me a list of what I can do. Hit enter and it goes one by one. If I hit the space bar, it just gives the whole list in segments, okay? But here I want to name the router as if you're doing it for your office, even your home lab. So let's do host name. You can do just HOST tab and it will fill it out for me. I'm going to call this, say, Miami. enter. And as you can see, it changed to Miami on this end. Doesn't take spaces, okay? So just Miami. Miami is, you could do like corp, head office, whichever. Now we're going to go into the serial interface. INT stands for interface, and I know it's going to be on our G interface. And I'll show you how to look at your interfaces in a minute, okay? So 0, I'm sorry, I'm not the G, your serial interface, I apologize. 0, enter. Now we're into that interface. And then as before, if we needed to find out like what commands, you just do the question mark and it will give you a list of what you can do. We want to add our IP address that we put here to our interface. So let's do that right now. IP add, which stands for IP address, and we're adding it. And now let's put our IP 10.0.0.0.1 and our subnet 255.0.0.1. Okay, hit enter. Now we have to do, I apologize, let's do this, 0. You make these little mistakes, but this is how you learn, okay? And we're not going off of a script. So it's good. That's how you learn. I mean, I noticed, but this is good for you if you're learning. So let's do no shut, and that will bring the interface up, okay? Again, you can do Control Z, or you can do end, or you can type exit. Just exit goes back 1, end, and Control Z gets you right back to the beginning in privilege mode, okay? So let's do this now. We're going to do show run, and this will give you everything that's been configured so far. Let's see. On our gigabit Ethernet, we can see we had 192.168.1.1, and over here on our Class C subnet, I'm hitting enter, and you can see the different interfaces like I explained before. You have 0/0, 0/1, and over here 0/2, and you can see our serial interface that we just added an IP address to. Okay, you have your VLAN, etc. I'm just going to hit the spacebar to move on. Okay, now let's do another command, show IP interface and brief. Now I'm using abbreviations. It makes it short, our shorthand, it makes it easier. Just hit enter, and this will tell me the state of my interface. Okay, you can see it sets to up. I'm good to go here. I'm going to do a WR to write it. Now we're going to do the same to our other interface. Okay, let's close this out. So hit this one, hit enter. We're just going to go through it. You've seen the other steps that I've made. So now let's get into the interface. S0 IP add. And remember, we need to add this IP address here. So let's do 10.0.0.2.255.0.0.0. Enter. And let's do no shut. And we're going to do Control Z and enter. Now watch this. Because it's if you do show IP route, and this will tell you basically it's a key basically telling you what each of these stand for. C stands for your connected network, so it's telling you that you're directly connected through your serial interface 0/0/0. That's why I'm able to ping. Okay, this says I'm locally connected, L, locally connected. And as you can see, I'm locally connected over here on this interface also with my gigabit interface locally connected on this IP. Okay, but watch this. I'm going to try to ping this PC 1.20. 1.2.168.1.20. Doesn't know how to get there. Okay, so we're gonna have to, once it's finished, we'll go ahead and configure our static route on the router. So another thing we'll do on this, let's do here. If you hit the up arrow on your keyboard, you can cycle through the different commands that you've used before. Okay, and I'm just doing a cycling through it here. So I want to go through show IP interface brief. All right, so I'm on this router. So I'm on this router. I need to name this router. So I'm just going to give it a name. So I'm going to do config t host name, and let's call this Atlanta. Atlanta. Okay. We're going to exit out of this interface, and then we're going to just write it to the interface. All right. Now I need to tell this router on this side how to get over here. So we still have to go back into global config. Global config is where you make all your changes, okay? Let's go config T, and let's do this. So IP route, and I want to get to this network. When I was doing or started to learn Cisco routers, I actually read it through books. I never had videos or anything like this to show me. And even I read that book, it was like 500 pages twice, and sometimes it was still confusing. And it took me a while to figure out how to set up a static route. Now, also a static route, I personally don't like it, and it's really good. I would say for just two networks. I want to get from point A to point B if you have just two routers. Using routing protocols, it's a lot easier to me, and I like it. There's advantages and disadvantages to the protocols, and we'll get into that at another time. So I'm just going to tell this router over here, this router, how to get to this router, how to get to this PC. It doesn't know, okay? So we're going to do 192.168.1.0. 255.255.255.0. Okay, and what's key that I feel like a lot of people don't mention is that you have to tell this router where I'm going to go. There's two ways to do it. You can use the IP address, where to go, which is they call the next hop. So I'm hopping from here to here, this to here. Or I can tell it go out your serial interface. So I can say S, and you've seen me configure this that way, and you would hit enter, or you enter the IP address to the next hop, okay? Okay, and you would hit enter. But I'm going to use the serial interface. So let's do this. Enter. This you can ignore this warning here. Hit Z, enter. Now let's try to do our ping 168.1.20. And as you can see, we're getting replies. Okay, let's ping. Let's go on the other side and set it up. But matter of fact, let's go ahead and write it to the interface. We're just going to write it to the interface, and then we could close out of this. Okay, let's go into this router and we'll do the same. So let's do config T, and we're going to say IP route. So we're telling, hey, I want to route you to another network. Okay, and this is a static setup. So we need to tell it how to get to this network. Okay, so we'll do 192.168.2.0, 255.255.255.0. And let's try doing it this way, not try. Let's do it this way by adding the IP address of the next hop, okay? 10.0.0.2. Okay, enter. This time we didn't get that warning, okay? Again, I wish I had known a lot of this when I was doing it. A lot of studying, a lot of reading, a lot of making mistakes, and trial and error. Like I said, sometimes you even, by just typing, you'll make a mistake. But you learn that way. I've spent hours and hours learning without anyone helping me, just reading books. And you will make mistakes, but you just can't give up. You just got to stay on it and you will get it. So now let's do this. Let's do a ping. There we go. First one, most of the time, will fail because you have your 5 pings. 4 went through. It's basically, figuring out the route, building its routing table, etc. So now this is a basic setup for a static route. Okay. I'll do another video where we'll do rip commands, routing, and rip is an older technology. We have more advanced routing protocols, and we'll go through, but we'll just start by going, because it's still available on interface. We'll just start by going through the different routing protocols. I hope I have explained it good enough for you guys or make it easy enough. Again, don't be scared of mistakes. Or whatever. This is how you learn. Even for someone like me that knows it, sometimes I will make mistakes. But then again, that's where you go and you'll troubleshoot. You'll see what's going on, and you figure it out from there. Okay, guys. Thank you, and we'll do another video. Okay, bye for now.